Happy Monday evening. Welcome back to my dining room table where we do a lot of math together these days. You need to have your area of a compound shape notes in front of you. You might want a highlighter or two tonight or some colored markers and your pencil. We're going to be talking about the area of a compound shape today. We previewed it in class last Wednesday, but now I'm going to give you the formal steps. So let's start by looking at your notes. And we started with a review. And the review was simply perimeter and area. In perimeter, you add all the sides. In area, you multiply the length times the width. So on your notes, you see a rectangle that is 23 centimeters by 7 centimeters. To figure out the perimeter, you would add 23 plus 23 plus 7 plus 7. I'm going to have to do this in my head. I'm thinking 23 plus 23 is 46. 7 and 7 is 14. So 46, 56, 60 centimeters would be the perimeter. And then the area would be 23 times 7. I have to think 7 times 3 is 21. You write the 1, you carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 2 is 16. So that's 161 centimeters squared. Hopefully you got those. Hopefully you could work those on your notes. I just did them in my head because I didn't want to mess up my notes. I have to make copies for you guys tomorrow. Then let's look at the steps to a compound area. A compound area is simply a polygon, and a polygon is a closed figure, closed with all straight sides, that needs to be broken down into simpler shapes to find the area. I said find the meaning. Please cross out the word meaning and put area. I don't know what I was thinking. Step 1 is you break the shape into 2 or 3 rectangles. Step 2 is you number the rectangles. Those are 2 super easy steps. Step 3 is you figure out the measurements you need. Here you might need to add or subtract a little bit, and this is the only tricky part. Once you figure these out, you are in the clear. So step 3 is going to be the hardest one if you want to put a star by it. Number 4, figure out the area of each rectangle, and 5, add the rectangles. Now you've got 2 examples on the other side of your paper, and I'm actually going to do each of those 2 examples twice to show you that you will get the same complete area no matter how you divide the figure. So let's look at that shape 1 first, the one on top. And if you look, it's an irregular polygon. It's got 10, 10, 4, and 3. Now I don't know this and I don't know this, but I can figure those out if I need to, and I'll show you how in just a minute. But if I look at steps 1, it says to break the shape into 2 or 3 rectangles. Well, in this case, I only need to do 2, so I'm going to take my highlighter, and this time I want to break it in this way. Then I have to number them. So this is going to be shape 1, and this is going to be shape 2. Next, I need to figure out the area of each of those shapes. So I'm going to look at shape 1, and it's length times width. And this 10 is this whole measurement, so I can use this 10. And this 3 is this whole measurement, so I can use this 3. Well, then the length times the width is simply 10 times 3, or 30 units. So I'm going to put a 30 up here. Units, because I didn't give you a unit of measurement. And it would be squared. Don't want to get that wrong. Then I got to look at this shape. Well, I've got a 4 here, which gives me that, and I need to use that. But I have a 10 here. The problem with this 10 is it gives me this whole side, and I only need it up to here. So if I look, this is 3. I know this because it tells it to me. Well, if this is 3, this is also 3. So if I have 10, and I know that 3 is already taken, what I have left is 7. Because 7 plus 3 equals 10. And I got that 3 from over there. So now I know I can multiply 7 times 4. So for my second shape, I'm going to do 7 times 4 equals 28 units squared. And I've got that done. The last thing I need to do is add my areas. 30 plus 28 is 58 units squared. Easy, huh? Well, let's look and see, what if I decided to divide my shape a different way? And would I still get 58? Let's look and see. Same exact shape, but this time I'm going to divide it this way. And so I have shape 1 here and shape 2 here. Now let's see if I can figure this one out. Now I need to multiply the length times the width. But I'm running into that problem again here because I only need to know up to here. And this 10 gives me all the way across. But if you look, I have this 4 right here. So I know that this also has to be 4. Well, if this is 4 and this is an unknown that it has to equal 10, this would be 6, because 6 plus 4 is 10, which is this whole shape. All right, and I better talk faster, I'm going to run out of time. So shape 1 would be 3 times 6, and that equals 18 units squared. Shape 2, if I look, I've got a 10 here and the 4 here. I don't want to use this 10 because that's this whole shape. So shape 2 is 10 times 4, which is 40 units squared. And then I have to add those two to find my total area. Well, 18 plus 40 is 58 units squared. 58 and 58, they match. So no matter how you divide them, you're going to get the same thing. All right, let's look at your next shape because it's a little bit more complex. You're going to have to divide that into 3. And I'm going to have to talk fast. All right, so the shape looks like this. You've got your measurements, which you can see, so I'm not going to go over them. Excuse this, I overdrew. And for this first one, I'm going to divide it into 3 shapes. 1, 2, and 3. Now, if I look at this first shape, it's easy. I have the measurements 4 and 3 that I can use. So shape 1 is 4 times 3, or 12 cubic or units squared. Now I got to look at shape 2. This 4 gives me this, and I can't just use that. But this plus this is going to equal this whole side, right? I'm thinking. So this whole side is going to be 8. Now I got to look this way. Well, I know that this is 3 right here, and this is 7 right here, and 7 and 3 is 10. I know that this whole side is 17. It tells me that right here. I've got 10 accounted for. So 10 plus something has to equal 17. So that's going to be a 7. This one's a little harder. So my second shape would be 8 times 7, and that's 56 units squared. Now my third shape is easy. It's already figured out. I know that this is 11, and this is 7. So 7 times 11 equals 77 units squared. Now I just have to add. 2 and 6 is 8. 8 and 7 is 15. Carry my 1. 1 and 1 is 2. Plus 5 is 7. Plus 7 is 14. That gives me 145 units squared. Yeah. A little harder. The hardest part, though, is figuring out these two measurements. But it's doable if you analyze everything. All right, really quickly. I'm going to divide this way. I'm going to label it shape. Oops, wrong color. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Shape 1 is 3 times 7. So it's 21 units squared. Shape 2 is 4. Then I have to figure out what this line is. Well, this whole thing is 17. But I only get up to here. This is 3. So 3 plus something has to equal 17. That would make this 14. So shape 2 would be 4 times 14, which I'm going to do in my head because I'm running out of time. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 56 units squared. Then I've got shape 3. See if my measurements are right here. Well, I got 17. I know I can use that. And I got 4. I can use that. Super, I don't have to figure anything out. So 4 times 7 is 28. Carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6 units squared. 68 units squared. Now when I add them up, I really hope I get 145, because if not, I did something wrong. 1 plus 6 is 7 plus 8 is 15. 5 and 6 is 11, 12, 13, 14. 145 units squared. See you tomorrow.